You said, "My sister mocked me for marrying a farmer until we refused to bail her out." Part 1. The Golden Sister. My name is Lily, and I grew up with an older sister, Vanessa. To the outside world, Vanessa was dazzling, beautiful, popular, confident. To my parents, she was the golden child who could do no wrong. And me? I was always the simple one. Quiet, practical, never shining quite as bright as Vanessa. Our whole lives, she loved to remind me of it. When she bought her first designer purse, she sneered at my thrift store clothes. When she started dating wealthy men, she laughed at the idea of me wanting a simple love. And when I fell in love with Noah, a humble, hardworking farmer, Vanessa nearly choked on her wine at the dinner table. "A farmer?" she mocked, her voice dripping with amusement. "Lily, you could have at least aimed for a mechanic or a teacher. But a man who digs in the dirt for a living? That's your big love story?" The whole family laughed with her. Except me. Except Noah. That night, I made myself a promise. I wouldn't waste my life trying to win their approval. I'd live for myself. And I'd stand by the man who loved me with his whole heart. Part 2. Building a Different Life. Vanessa went on to marry a wealthy banker. Their wedding was grand, flashy, the kind of event that made the society pages. My parents beamed with pride, bragging to anyone who would listen about their daughter's glamorous new life. Meanwhile, Noah and I had a small ceremony in our backyard. My dress was secondhand, my bouquet freshly picked from his fields. Vanessa didn't even show up, but I didn't care. Because where her world was built on glitter, mine was built on roots. Life on the farm wasn't easy. We woke up before dawn. We worked through storms, through droughts, through winters so bitter our hands cracked and bled. But Noah and I were a team, and little by little our hard work began to pay off. The farm grew. We bought more land. We sold produce at local markets, then to restaurants, then to grocery chains. By the time I turned 30, our farm had become one of the largest organic suppliers in the region. We weren't just surviving, we were thriving. But to Vanessa, none of it mattered. To her, I was still the sister who married a farmer. Part 3. Cracks in the Perfect Life. At family gatherings, Vanessa would show up in her designer dresses, dripping in jewelry, boasting about vacations in Paris and New York. She'd look me up and down, smirking at my sunburnt skin and calloused hands. "So," she'd say loudly enough for everyone to hear, "how's life in the mud?" I learned to smile and let it roll off me, because I knew something she didn't. Her life was not as perfect as it seemed. The banker husband she married was controlling, arrogant, and reckless with money. They lived in a mansion they couldn't afford, drove cars they leased on credit, and threw parties they funded with loans. And eventually, the cracks widened. The banker's big deals went sour. Debts piled up. Vanessa's jewelry began to disappear piece by piece. She started drinking more, laughing less. But still, she mocked me. Still, she clung to her illusion of superiority. Part 4. The Fall. The call came one rainy evening. Vanessa's voice shook through the line. "Lily, I need your help, please." Her husband had been arrested for fraud. Their accounts were frozen. Creditors were circling like vultures. She was days away from losing her house. I listened quietly as she begged. "You and Noah, you have money, don't you? The farm, it's successful. You can help me. Just a loan. Please, Lily." For a moment, I remembered all the years of cruelty, the laughter at my expense, the way she mocked my love, my life, my choices. And then I remembered Noah, the man who had stood by me when no one else did, the life we had built with sweat, tears, and soil under our fingernails. I thought of the nights I cried because of Vanessa's words, and suddenly the answer was clear. "No," I said, my voice steady. "We won't bail you out." There was a stunned silence on the other end. Then her voice cracked, shrill with disbelief. "You can't be serious. You'd let your own sister lose everything?" I took a deep breath. "You mocked me for marrying a farmer, but that farmer gave me a life filled with love, stability, and success. You chose a man who gave you lies and debts. Now you can live with your choices. And with that, I hung up. Part 5. Revenge Served Cold. The news spread quickly. Vanessa lost her mansion. She lost her cars. She lost her so-called friends. At the next family gathering, she arrived in a modest dress, her hair dull, her smile forced. She couldn't meet my eyes, but everyone else did. My parents, once so proud of her, now looked at me differently. They saw the truth. The sister they dismissed, the daughter they underestimated, the wife they mocked, was the one who had built something real. Vanessa sat across from me, silent, pale, and bitter. And for the first time, she had nothing left to say.